Okay, it's currently August 11th, which means we are week 9 into Project Summer, the summer project where I aim to lose weight and become a powerlifter. First things first, did we lose weight? Well, last week we weighed in at 93.3 kg, and this week we are weighing in at 92.65 kg, meaning that we have lost a total of 0.65 kg. This is completely normal because I did not expect a 1 kg drop as soon as I got back because of a few things. First of all, in the last day that I was in Hong Kong and from my China trip in Chongqing and Xi'an, the deficit was still there. It just wasn't as strong, meaning that as soon as I got back and then I had to acclimatize to the food here, I noticed that I was maintaining a lot of water weight, and that's just because I felt like there was a shift in terms of dieting, because whilst I was on my China trip, I realized that because a lot of the food there, especially in Xi'an and Chongqing, there's a lot of oil in the food that they cook there, like a lot of it, especially hot pot, which meant that in terms of calories, I had to make sure that I cut down on carbs. Now that I've come back into the UK and I've become on a more controlled diet where I can really just dial in a bit of balance of everything, on top of the fact that I'm now using creatine again. I did try and use creatine during the second week of my China trip whilst I was in Hong Kong, but my creatine just smelled a bit weird. But now onto the fun part. Strength retention, or should I say strength deterioration in this case. When I was on holiday and came back, I knew that my lifts in terms of SBD, squat, bench and deadlift performance was obviously going to be a bit rubbish. I initially thought that because I did a lot of leg work in Hong Kong, because I did a lot of accessory lifts in Chongqing and Xi'an in those gyms, I felt like that my bench was obviously going to suffer because that's the first thing that goes in terms of deadlift and squat. Squat I thought would be okay, but deadlift I thought would be the best in terms of I wouldn't have any deterioration or very minimal there. However, it's kind of been turned on its head. Deadlifts I've cut down in terms of weights a lot, and this is just because of a few factors. The first factor being that I have now started using chalk and I'm trying to get used to the burning sensation you have in your hands after doing a heavy lift with chalk, and that's just something that takes time. So I'm capped at 140. Before I left for Hong Kong and China, I did try and attempt a 181 rep max with straps and I failed that, so there's that, and now I'm back into 140. Is it disappointing? Yes. Will I work through it? Yes. Is this good and a good setback? Yes, of course, because in powerlifting competitions, most of the ones that I want to go to and most of the federations that I want to go to don't allow straps, and you have to do it raw, i.e. with a belt and chalk. So that's just something I have to get used to. In terms of bench, that actually surprised myself. I haven't lost any strength because I can still bench 75 kg, because I honestly thought that the hotel dumbbells that I used were only up to 20 kg, and I can usually dumbbell incline press at least 28 for a few reps. And in terms of squatting, it's alright. It just hasn't really changed. I still am really focusing on depth. This is just more like a post-holiday recovery where I'm really building back up to those heavy lifts and really focusing on cutting and making sure that any weight I do retain isn't overly influenced by what I ate in the last 2 weeks. Anyways, if you want to follow more and see my journey, then please follow and like, and I will see you next week. Thank you very much.